to where the dragons gather. I have a little confession in that I recorded myself doing most of this build. Didn't realise my microphone wasn't on. So that was fun. So now, instead of showing you me making the build, I'm going to show you how it looks. And I still have the audio and the footage of me creating the sim that goes with this build. So that's fine. You can see me make the sim, just not the build. But anyway, this is like my second video and I already look like I'm messing everything up. So this is just brilliant. So anyway, obviously I am in the Spellcaster world. I decided to remake the bar, not because I don't like the original bar, just because, as I've said before, I like to storytell with things like this, and for me, this particular sim that I've made, I feel would have bought this bar and then put her own personality onto it. So we might as well start with the outside. I have just brought all the walls up, and anyway, so starting with the outside, I've put some lights in here. I just realised this looks like a runway now, which is quite fitting when you consider I have put all the rooms outside as sort of like parking. I think it's supposed to be a Spellcaster bar, and I like the idea that they just ride in on their brooms. I also added this plant over here. I find the tops of the pillars can be, for me, they just feel like a wasted space. I want to put things on them. I don't know why. Probably explains why my house is such a mess, because whenever it's a flat surface, I put something on it. So maybe it's just to remove the temptation to put other things on top of there. So I put the plant there just for decoration, really. And again there. I did originally have this telescope here. Then I did the landscaping. Just Sims having really good close-up look of a tree. Because you need a telescope for that. You need to stand your telescope right there and then stare at the tree to get the full detail of the tree. Because you couldn't possibly do that with your eyes. Now, you need a telescope for that. All the secrets of the universe hidden behind a tree. So the telescope has now been moved over here. It's now pointing at the woods. I guess that mound looks, if I say who lives here, look like more of a serial killer, because it does look like she's spying on people in the woods. I don't know if there was a better way of doing this, really, because if I had it facing that way, it was facing the roads, then it looks like she's watching traffic. And I just realised this random car over here, which on its own is also giving me serial killer. So that's certainly interesting. But anyway, I moved that. Outside, I have a little seating area. The creepy little doll is Debug. I've tried to stick to only a few packs for this, so I think it's Life and Death, the Spellcaster pack, Seasons base game. It's going to be easier to look it up. Right, so I had base game, Seasons, Island Living, Life and Death, Vampires, Jungle Adventure, Werewolves, Realm of Magic, Spooky Stuff, Nifty Knitting, which will make more sense in a minute, Paranormal, and Crystal Creations. That's quite a few packs, but it's not as many as I could have used. I didn't use everything. I just used ones that I tried to lump them together based on what I think fits the vibe of what I'm trying to create. And those were the ones that I thought felt fit the best for what I wanted to make here. So, let's have a quick look. I should show the inside, but we will look at the back first and we will come back to the inside. Okay, down my landscaping. So at the back here, we've got another seating area. These cute little plants, which I think are Realm of Magic. Just a little plant from Jungle Adventure. And just a little seating area here too. And then the plants And what I like these plants, what I like about these plants is that they go outside your lot space, which I find quite useful. I'm not sure if that's because I had move objects on and that's why I did it, but I like the fact that there isn't a hard line between where the foliage ends and this begins. It makes it feel more cohesive. Also, threw in a crystal tree. I find these things beautiful and rather otherworldly, which really fit with the Spellcaster atmosphere I was trying to create. Let's stop moving the mouse around if I can. And I've added some lights to the outside. That brings us to the ground floor. Stop moving the mouse. Right, so as you can see, I have installed a dance floor. Unfortunately, dance floors are not in the base game, and they weren't in any of the packs I chose. So I can't quite remember which this one came from. It might be from Growing Together. So if you don't have that pack, you might not have this dance floor. The only reason I put it in is for a visual representation for myself that this is a dance floor, because I put the tables and chairs around the outside, and then this area looked really blank, and I just want to emphasize for myself that this is actually a dance floor, and that's why it's the way it is. Otherwise I was just tempted to fill it up when I wasn't supposed to be filling it up. Over here you'll see we have no, we don't have an umbrella rack, we have an umbrella rack. I'm not even good at my own language. And then we have a coat hook as well. I've also used a few of the pictures from, I think this one was Spooky Living. This one I think is Life and Death. But I definitely know I used a Crystal Creations one somewhere. I think this was Crystal Creations rug. Yeah, this is Life and Death. I really went with Life and Death. And then the tarot card as well, which is also Life and Death. And the mirror is the Wealth pack, because it always confuses me, because I always think it should have come in Crystal Creations or in the Realm of Magic pack because of the way it looks, and it didn't. But it's beautiful and I'm using it. I also have this bar here with the stools. I went for black and white. I'm not quite sure why. I love black and white as a contrast. I think that's probably what the motivation here was. It's just the contrast between the black and the white. And the random pops of colour just really stand out more. This room's quite muted, I would say. None of the colours are particularly strong. Not sort of jewel tones. I wouldn't say they're pastels, but they're not saying not jewel tones. They're not really impactful, but I quite like that about this part of the bar. I don't think you need a dance floor that's in your face so much. And here is where I forgot to change the wallpaper that I originally had. There we go. And I always like to do this, so I always create an under the stairs space for storage. I have created a space upstairs for a sim so they could live on the lot, and you can't do that in the Sims 4, but I believe you can download a mod. I believe it's Little Miss Sam's mod, where you can download a mod that's buyable venues or livable venues, which allows your sim to live in the venue. So they can own it and live in that space. So I have put that upstairs. I will show you that last, because it is the top floor. But thinking if she owns this space, she owns this space too, and maybe she's using this under storage for her stuff. And I especially like the idea that she's just got like a bag of money ready to go in case she needs to escape town for whatever reason. I don't know why that makes me laugh. I just love it. And just the two random urns. This one is, I think they're both debug, but in my head this was a werewolf who was maybe her friend, and she can't bear to be parted from them. And maybe this was someone else who was very special to her as well, and that's why both are still here. Once I found this book, I couldn't resist using it, as it does match exactly the creepy doll outside. I don't know, maybe she's an author. I just really loved putting that little book in. And the little nods to her hobbies. Oh, it turns out she absolutely hates gardening. So this just makes this little tray even better, because I've actually been trying to get her skills up, but I've been doing it the slow way, basically. I haven't cheated her skills. I've been having her do activities, and that's revealed more personality traits as I've gone through. She hates gardening, so this thing being under the stairs is even better, because it's just the one plant that you can do anything with, just one plant, is just even better now, because she just hates gardening. So it's just like, yeah, no, tried gardening, hated it, shoved this under the stairs, never looked at it again. It's going to lead us to upstairs. Yes, this is obviously life and death as well. And then the lighting is also life and death. So just stop there for a second so you can see everything. Get the full impact of just how good I am. That is sarcasm. I realise that I'm not great at it, so I'm just going to explain it. So that leads us to the next set of stairs. She says, suddenly realising there's something else on this floor. Yes, the railing. This railing is one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen. And it frustrates me that we don't have a stair railing that matches. This railing does actually match a fence that you can get with Realm of Magic. So you can have the match. But why would I pick that when I have this, which is just so freaking beautiful? I just don't know why I would pick the other one when I have this one. I needed a railing to go with this wall, but it didn't happen, and I get that. I'm just disappointed. So that brings us to the upstairs, and we're going to ignore that because you can't see it from the outside because I've put something in the way. So up here, again, I've used this railing because this fence because I find it so beautiful, and again, there's something in me that has to put things on surfaces. So we have a little crystal skull from Debug. Crystal Creations. These are obviously the pictures you usually get from using a telescope. This is from Nifty Knitting. This is from Life and Death. I just love the fact that she put that right there, like right next to the chess table. Like she really wants people to notice it. I don't know why, because in my head the sim who lives here is a 300-year-old witch, and I think that's the portal for sort of like rebirth, I think. Don't quote me on it because I haven't played the pack as much as I should have done. But yeah, so just like really ram it into their heads. No, I may be 300 years old, but you want to be reborn. But anyway, so over here I have more of those pictures. I have these from Nifty Knitting. I don't know why I put those up because she actually hasn't got that skill. So to me, this is probably something that was given to her by a friend, and she's used it to decorate her bar. And then we have the piano and microphone, and we have a little gold frog and a little death frog and a tarot card on the piano. You'll notice I've used a lot of rugs. I use rugs to identify different areas. So the rug, to me, rugs group things together to make them more cohesive. So there'll be different rugs. And I like the fact that when you use different rugs, it gives different textures and patterns. It just makes the floor more interesting to me. Over here, you have somewhere where your sim can lounge while someone else paints them. As in, paints a painting of them, not actually paints your actual sim. That brings us over here. I have this tarot card because it made me think of the Spellcasters. Sorry, I'm just looking at thinking it also looks like another thing, but it reminded me of Spellcasters, so I sort of put that up as a sort of nod to this being a Spellcaster bar. Just some little decorations. I love that little dragon, so of course that made an appearance. That is the shiniest mushroom I have ever seen in my life. Then over here we have a seating area for conversation if you can hear yourselves over the sound of the dance floor or the musicians. Probably not the best place to play chess either, but there we go. And then we have on the table a little werewolf statue. We have wood by the fire, even though we wouldn't use it. I just think it looks cute anyway. Just a bit of clutter. I have filled the fireplace with extra crystals just because I wanted it to be a bit more dramatic, not because I don't think the original fireplace isn't beautiful. I just wanted a more dramatic fireplace for this part of the conversation. Over here, we have a little yarn demon. I actually don't know what they're called. I just call him a yarn demon. Look at him. He's amazing. He is being swamped by the chair. He is perfect. And that's where he lives. And then on the wall, we have pictures that I like to think are people she knows, either other sorcerers or friends. Just really wanted to give the idea of relationships with these pictures. I may at some point try and make these Sims if I can. It will be difficult because I'm not sure if we have all these outfits in the game, but I may give it a try. And then I might make them be friends with her, so there's actually a relationship there rather than just in my head. Over here we have a familiar, precariously located on the edge of a banister right next to a drop. But you can overlook the dance floor from here. If you want to watch someone dancing from above, like a creepy person, I guess. But anyway, I originally had plants around the edge, but there was a last bit and I couldn't get them on there, and it was driving me nuts, so I just took them all away in the end. It did look really pretty, but I couldn't finish it well, and if it's not finished well, it's not worth having. Here we have a TV and the new game console that came with the pack. I mean, if you did with the rewards, the login rewards, if you don't have that, not a problem. I'm not sure. I think it will download anyway. I think you'll still get it if you download the pack, even if you didn't do the rewards. But if not, it can be easily replaced with any kind of the base game console. Here we have the vampire pictures. Again, I mean, Vlad already exists. I think she already exists as well, but not sure how this guy. Again, at some point I might just do a series of videos where I literally make all the Sims in these photos, except for Vlad, who already exists. I put that up as a sort of nod to how old she is. I like to think that she knows Vlad. The Sim I've created actually has the good trait, so she'd actually be enemies of Vlad. I don't think, well, I say enemies. I think if they're good, they get saddened by being around evil Sims, and I believe he's got the evil trait. So they wouldn't be friends, but it's a little nod to how old she is that she knows him in person. Then over here, some more of the tarot pictures because they're just beautiful, but also just that this Spellcaster bar is mostly for sorcerers, but other cryptids are welcome in this space. She is not trying to prevent others from enjoying her bar. It is mostly for sorcerers, but she is not discriminating against any cryptid. Also this because it just looks so much like Vlad hanging upside down, and it's such a clever take on the hanging man. And then here, the Empress tarot card, which is, I believe, it's the same one as I put on the piano, but I can't see the piano because I've got the walls up. There we go. Yes, it is. And that leads us to the hallway leading to her personal apartment. So I try to make the most of the space. I know it's a gemology table, but I have to pronounce that really carefully because every time I go to say it, I want to say gemology, which I don't think is a word. I'm not even sure gemology is a word, but I have to be really careful about how I say it. So she has a gemology table down here, a treadmill, a wicker basket, somewhere to put her shoes, a little rug in the entryway. Oh, I also put in this bonsai plant. It does give your Sims gardening skill, but I think as well there's certain shapes they'll just get really annoyed about, and I find that really enjoyable. I don't know why. I just love the idea of someone just being really annoyed at the shape of a bonsai plant, of all things. But that leads us to the upstairs apartment that is solely hers. So, nothing too dramatic. I tried to make the most of this little entry landing. Again, I've used a little chair. This came from Jungle Adventures. A little easel for her to do paintings. This, because she's obsessed with tarot. Little baskets of supplies. And a bookcase leading us to the main living room space where she has her desk, her computer. I couldn't remember the word for computer. I like that computer because it's so odd. I didn't want to just have a boring computer. Then she's got the rocking chair, fireplace, fire tools. You know, she wouldn't use it for this fireplace. And then we have the TV and stand. This moonflower came from Debug, and this horse statue as well. And then we have this gramophone, which you can obviously use to summon the Grim Reaper. And again, just more rugs, because rugs adds different kinds of colour. And you can tell stories with rugs, where this one's like maybe is more faded. In my head, it's the one that she uses more often. She's had longer. This is a newer edition. This one's more faded, so it's been with her for a while. And same for this one. So maybe there's some rugs that she takes with her, and some are new for this space. And then the night statue, because I need something in that corner because there was nothing, and that just really fit quite well. Then she has a kitchen area with a lot of counter space. I haven't given her a microwave or any tools. I did think about doing that, but I thought maybe she's more into cooking things from scratch. Then we have the main living space. And we have the dresser, the mirror, because I think that mirror is beautiful. It is facing the bed. It is a little weird, but she has curtains for privacy. And we have the stained glass roof canopy. That's the one over the top, which I think is just so beautiful and fits with the stained glass that we have throughout this build. And then again, more Realm of Magic, sink, mirror, I think, or is that gemology? That might be gemology actually. But Realm of Magic toilet and tiles, because again, we've got these little crows on there. And then just the standard bath. I'm not sure what shape they were going for there. It looks like a skull, but it looks like a skull with like crab legs and then a hat. So yes. And the jet, because that's something you can use some in the Grim Reaper. Just a little nod to her having lived 300 years, so essentially defying death in that time. And just a little folders on the desk. I think this is where she comes to sort out her accounting and for the bar, and where she works out paying her bills and her staff and all that, and shifts and stuff like that. This is where she does the sort of the boring sort of admin tasks of her job. They say boring. There's people out there who absolutely love stuff like that. I'm just useless at it. So. And that brings us to the outside of the build. There is a lot of windows, so I've tried to hide them using foliage. I'm not sure I did a great job, but I like windows in my builds. I like a lot of light in my builds, so I have gone a little OTT. And that is the build. I have been a little bit sneaky, and I have actually hidden this little snow globe somewhere in the build. It should be easy to spot without moving objects. I haven't put it USB objects and then put something over the top of it, because I think that's too cruel. But it might take some searching to find it. It is on one of these 3 floors. And if you find it, feel free to drop a comment saying you found it or how long it took you. I don't think it'll take that long, but I think it's just a little extra added detail that can be quite fun if you choose to download this from the gallery. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I have got some other ideas coming up, including the vampire bar that I need to make and record myself making, and I'm still debating whether to show you the original one I did make. It did take a long time to make, but it also used a lot of packs, whereas this new one, I'm not sure how many packs I'll use. I might allow myself to use everything I've got. I've obviously not got every single pack that exists in the Sims4, as you can see. I don't have For Rent. I was about to say, I don't have the base game. I do have the base game. I don't have Cats and Dogs. I do have most of those ones, most game packs, but I don't have like most stuff packs. I don't have Perfect Patio or Kids Room or Fitness or Toddler. And I don't have any of I have the free kits and the storybook nursery because I thought that was beautiful. So I don't have as much as other people who play The Sims, I suppose. Hopefully these are packs that most people have. So hopefully it's not, if I did use all of these, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. But just because I found this build so restrictive, because I wasn't allowing myself to use too much. So I might give myself a bit more freedom with the next pack, with the next build. Or I might not, because I did give myself much freedom with the vampire build originally. And I might show you the difference between where I used all the packs and then none of the packs and then just limited packs. But I haven't decided on that yet. So anyway, that is the build. It will be on the gallery if you want to download it. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. And if you enjoyed this one, I will see you next one. If you didn't enjoy it, I completely understand. And I still hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much. Goodbye.